Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is separations. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts on my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and the world has completely changed since then. So if I encounter anything that is out of date, I'll give you the most recent information. At the end, I'll summarize the topic based on everything that's going on in the world today. Also have some special offers, so stay tuned to the very end to see what they are. Separations. There are wonderful reasons for merging. As infants, our bodies have just come from our mother's wombs, and we remain energetically merged so as best to communicate our needs, beyond crying, that is. Mother's intuition is simply being attuned to our little one. When I had my first child, I'd find myself being immediately hungry again right after eating lunch. It took me a while to realize that was his hunger, not mine, and it was time to nurse him and feed him his lunch. After a while, that kind of merging naturally fades, which is a good thing. One can imagine how many extra meals I would have eaten if I hadn't. Falling in love is another good reason for merging. One can't really love without being able to merge. On the other hand, for a long-term loving relationship, it helps to have spaces in your togetherness, to paraphrase Kahlil Gibran. Most of us don't have a problem with merging. We're not taught energetic techniques growing up. As adults, we bumble around with the energetic agility of a toddler. We move into people's heads, we match people's emotions, we throw energy instead of communicating disagreement. There's no etiquette for energy behavior since it's invisible. Those who are naturally sensitive deal with this onslaught by becoming isolated. I call myself a learned extrovert when really I'm a natural empath rather than an introvert. I feel others' emotions and occasionally I have other people's thoughts. That is, I'll think something and moments later it'll come out of somebody else's mouth, which maybe could mean that they're telepathic. Although I learned energetic techniques for separations in my early 20s, it's taken decades to actually begin to implement them. I've remained open for messages from my children and others get in on those communication lines. In my experience, energy emanating from males has a lower vibration, and to females it feels like grief. It's not always communicating sadness, it's just how a female body interprets it. Energy emanating from a female feels like guilt. It's a higher vibration. Male bodies are usually irritated by it. Females don't tend to notice other female energy in their space because it matches their own. Plus, our own female body can make us feel guilty at least once a month, unless it's pregnant, and then it's happily humming. I have two sons, so I've gotten inundated with grief on a regular basis for 24 years. However, I also have three brothers, a father and an ex-husband, and a present husband. So there have been some days I'm just one big soaking sponge without a clue as to which one is doing the communicating. Recently, I've realized it's more effective to respond to the energy rather than spend time figuring out who it is and what they're asking for. A simple way is to just send whoever it is healing energy. Bless them. Imagine shimmery gold energy coming down and surrounding them. Connect them to whatever they want. You can also imagine connecting them to the earth, which reassures bodies, and connect them to the sun, which is reassuring to themselves as consciousness, and it creates balance. I'm going to stop there because I've shared on these videos before, but I went through a tremendous energy shift in which the center of the earth ceased to exist, and just more of an awareness that we're in a hologram. And so when I tried that energy technique of connecting to the center of the earth, it was just like it went down through the bottom, kind of like I was sitting on the holodeck of Star Trek's Enterprise. But you can try this for someone else. Maybe it'll have an effect. When we're in a group of people, we'll match their collective energy. It's more noticeable if it's a temporary gathering, such as going home for the holidays or a family reunion. If we've been part of that group for a while, it's harder to define, such as working for a company or being part of a religious community. If you like your family, if you enjoy your workplace, then merging feels good. If the holidays are stressful because of dysfunctional family patterns, or if the company is undergoing a reorganization and layoffs are coming, that's a different story. How can you be yourself, maintain your space when surrounded by others? Here are a few ideas. If you're visual, imagine what color the main group's vibration is. For instance, when I read people who work for Boeing, the energy is a grayish green. Corporations and the military often emanate shades of gray. Imagine yourself surrounded in a bubble of your favorite color, or a lighter, brighter, or clearer color. It steps you up and out of the collective energy. If you're empathic, that is, if you feel things emotionally, amusement is a higher vibration which helps you separate from an uncomfortable group. And I have to stop there because we're going through an experience right now in the United States where we're recovering from an abusive situation where we had a previous administration that was really not there to govern turn, it was just there to extract all the wealth out of it, and we all felt really abused. So now we're going into an election up against that same group again and that same individual. And instead of feeling like victims, the people who are running against them are making fun of them, calling them weird. And it is such a tremendous relief. It's like we've gotten our power back, and there's a tremendous amount of joy that's happening as well from everybody emerging from this situation. So amusement is a higher vibration, which helps you separate from an uncomfortable group. Now, something I do for weddings or temporary visits is reframe the event as a movie, as a comedy specifically. This even works if you're going home for a funeral. Just try not to laugh during the service. An exception to the above is if the collective energy itself is ungrounded and chaotic. Amusement can still help, but you may want to imagine your feet magnetically connected to the earth. It brings your personal space into focus when everyone else is scattered. These kind of energy techniques are fun ways to instantly change your experience. Also, you can step into a parallel universe that looks the same but is completely different. I've done this to change the outcome of talking to a front desk manager when checking out of a hotel. I stepped to one side into a parallel universe where the results were going to be in my favor. It was a successful interchange. Now, you can step back and forth in one place, and each movement shifts you into a different universe. You can do this walking to a meeting or to work from the parking lot or a metro stop. Imagine walking through a series of opening and closing doors, like the beginning of that old 1960s fake spy show Get Smart. Each doorway opens to a new universe of possibilities. You can try any of these techniques whenever it occurs to you throughout this week, or you can make one up for yourself and see what happens. So this is a great topic, and my original training, I've shared at different times that I went through 5 years of mystical school that was based on Eastern and Western mysticism, and I worked for them on and off for about 14 years. And they were very big about space and making separations in energetic space. For me, it got to an extreme, and that's when I learned that, when you fall in love, it's okay to merge. I mean, I had 2 kids, it's okay to merge. And how you maintain your space with that is at some point you can become more expansive and more neutral, and then anything negative just passes right through. But it really does help to make separations energetically in the world today with the side that wants to drag you down and back to the dark ages. And a great way to do that is you don't have to abusively make fun of them, but you can find humor in the situation. You can reframe it as a movie, and who would you cast on that side? And some days it just really feels like we're living in one big Saturday Night Live skit. So when you operate as consciousness in your life, you automatically have your internal energetic power back, and it makes it so much easier to navigate. So if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends, and also on your social media. And please click the like button and subscribe, and that way you're telling YouTube to share this far and wide and get this out to someone who really needs to see this information. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the Skybox technique. It'll give you an expanded perspective of your life and help you shift to seeing things as consciousness. And if you want some manifestation techniques, Manifesting Money and Miracles is my self-study course where you learn how to embody different frequencies which create amazing, miraculous external changes. And if you want to know more, my website is joan-newcomb.com. There you can learn about my individual sessions where I take a look at you as consciousness and what's going on in your life today. And then I can answer any questions, whether it's about relationships, about what's coming up in the future, about money, about jobs, about living situations. And I can also talk to deceased loved ones. And it's all recorded just for you. And if you want to learn how to do this for yourself, and that is navigate your life as consciousness, Manifesting Money and Miracles is a great preparation for my coaching special where I work with you one-on-one and give you specifically chosen consciousness techniques so that you can transform your life. So go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.